Okay, open your mouth and give us a nice, beautiful smile.
Oh, that is a great smile.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have it too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, Francis. So, what were you saying that the Yad Sarah?
The dentist there was very, very conscientious, almost a perfectionist, and she worked very closely with the technical person who actually prepared the teeth, you know. And they would look at it and they say, "Ah, no, we need half a centimeter or a millimeter up or down or closer, you know." And they were kept checking things. I was going backwards and forwards, you know, week after week, and getting until they finally decided that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was
So that mattered
very
to
happy.
you that they did it was important to you that they were so concerned about doing a good job for you.
Well, because I myself am something of a perfectionist in things which I do, which I make, you know, painting or woodwork or that kind of thing. It has to be perfect, otherwise I'm not happy with it.
You're an
at all, you know.
artist.
Yeah, there is an artistic aspect to it, yeah. It's very important, these details, you know. I can't do something rough and just hang it up or put it up, you know. No, it has to be the way I want it.
Francis, I have to say, you also look very happy. Like, yeah.
I think that is a good summing up of the situation,
Yeah.
good description of the situation. Yeah, sure. I am happy.
Okay, great. Well, and my friend Jennifer, who paid for the, who represents Operation Blessing,
Very,
who
very
paid
nice
for the dentures. Did she take you there, or did she go there with you once or twice?
She was there with me once. In other words, we met
Okay.
there by arrangement, and we talked for a while. And she told me about herself. I told her about myself, and then I was called into the dentist for the beginning of work. And when I come out, the receptionist told me that, you know, the account had been paid. You know, I thought it was incredible. Just like that, you know, over the counter, as it were, you know, cash
nice.
down or however. Anyway, I was very, very, very pleased, of course, and rather surprised, you know, that the whole thing went so calmly, went so smoothly.
I told you I was going to raise the money to pay for it, and that you weren't going to have to pay for it.
Well, of course, they made me extremely happy because it would have been a very serious problem.
But you were, even though I told you, you were still surprised that it happened.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
That's a great
your reaction is interesting.
Yeah. After I told you that I raised the money to pay for it, you think they're still going to serve you up a bill? That's rude. That would be nasty. Little surprise at the end. You owe us 7,000 shekel. What?
Just like that. Well, you know, it's not that easy.
She's very good about getting what she says she's going to get
I can
done.
imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
No one says no to her.
Tanya.
No one says no to her.
Well, I hope that will also be the case for the foundations that we apply to now when we ask for money for dentures so that we can help 100 to 200 people a year. And I met with several people here in your building who would be very, very happy to get the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, on an individual basis, to raise money for each one to go to Yad Sarah will cost much more money, and how much we had to raise to pay for yours was much more money. How much DVI will do it for will cost us much less, and we can help more people. But I wanted you to say, for the purpose of who I want to send this video to are potential donors, and I want them to see, because they asked me, what is the impact of this for someone that you're going to do the dentures for? And you told me on the phone, but I want you to say for yourself, and then and hopefully I'm going to persuade them, because it looks like I'm making some progress.
Sure. Okay, I know what you're aiming at. There are a number of results actually which come from this funding. I think one is that beforehand I was not comfortable talking or smiling in particular, and quite often I noticed that I was holding my fingers in front of my mouth because I was aware that there was a rather awkward gap in my mouth. Yeah, so I would tend to keep my mouth closed and speak through closed lips rather than more freely. And it's taken me a little while to get used to the fact that I can certainly smile and laugh, you know, when I feel inclined to, because I do smile and laugh quite freely.
Easily, I see that.
Yeah. And I'm also aware of the fact that I would create a poor impression on people who would look at me and say, well, you know, a person with that kind of background, I mean, why the hell can't you raise the money to you know, for a decent dental work? And I felt that was to my disadvantage. Also, sort of by the way, I feel more able to enunciate, because I realize, I've discovered that having teeth or not having teeth does affect the way we talk. Actually, the way we enunciate, the way we pronounce words. And I still find that there are one or two words, I think the sibilants, you know, the s sound, tend to be a bit erratic. I don't quite know why. I think it's just a question of habit. And what was interesting was that I had to learn, or my tongue had to learn, its new place, you know, where it should be, because all of a sudden it's in a more confined space than it was previously, and that took a little while, but it came automatically, of course. And
You told me also that you had to be careful of what you would eat, like even schnitzel or chicken, never mind steak. You know, you told me even foods that might seem soft to someone else, you had to be very careful about chewing it or it will cause you digestive problems.
that is very true. I certainly had to beware of foods which required chewing in particular. If you don't have the proper teeth, then I forgot the proper names for the various parts of the teeth, the various parts of the gums, but if you don't have a good basis for chewing, or good equipment for chewing, then you can't, you have to avoid, quite simply, the tougher meats in particular. Also some certain vegetables need to be chewed. Others fruit like apples and pears, you know, which are not necessarily soft, at least not in Israel.
So would you say you're able to eat food now that you couldn't eat before?
Of course. I can deal with most foods, I think. Also, it does depend upon whether I use the glue. There is a glue which is recommended by dentists, and it's put on in one of the dentures. In particular, it's my lower denture, which fits rather less well than the upper denture. So if I don't use the glue, I do find them sort of free floating at times,
okay,
which makes it awkward. But usually I do use the glue.
Okay, so would you say if you're able to eat a much wider range of food and you feel more confident and better about your appearance, that overall the dentures have improved your quality of life?
Of course, no doubt about it. There's two ways. It's very, very obvious, to me at least, and possibly to other people around me who know me quite well. As you yourself remarked, I do smile easily and laugh when I feel like it, and I'm not at all impeded by something or other, which formerly was the case. You know, look, it is having a toothless mouth is unwholesome, really. It's not the way it should be, and it does cause a certain discomfort in people who are facing me. now that I have teeth, a full set of teeth, then I don't feel these problems. They have in fact disappeared.
Wow.
And so, yes, it has certainly improved my quality of life, except that if you had not asked me to enumerate or to describe the improvement, I probably would not have thought too much about it, because it's just one of those things, you know. It becomes automatic that you have a decent set of teeth, and it's natural.
So when you say,
Natural
like,
state.
you could take it for granted, you feel like it's something that every person ought to have.
Every person ought to have, and I'm sure.
Can you say, like, every person, say the whole sentence, every person ought to have a full smile like I have, or something like that?
Everybody, I think, I'm sure, from my own experience, that everybody who has a decent set of teeth, whether they are natural or dentures, has a greater sense of self-esteem and better self-image. And that's part of the problem.
And a higher quality of life.
Is a higher quality of life as well, yes. So there may be three headings there: general feeling of well-being, and also an improvement in one's self-image, and also quality of life. Certainly, in other words, I have no longer to choose being fussy about my foods, the foods that I eat, because I can eat almost anything, and in confidence that my teeth will remain in place and will not fall out, you know, at an inopportune opportunity.
Well,
yeah. I think the people who are prepared to devote money to funding these initiatives should be, well, I'm very grateful to them, shall we say, and I'm sure that everyone else would be as well, because it's not something which you need to take into consideration or accept as natural, that when you get older you lose your teeth, and that's all there is to it.
so a little thank you to Operation Blessing.
Yeah, a big thank you to, because you know, I read quite a lot, and one comes across expressions such as a toothless old woman approached him, you know, and that kind of thing, and you think, yeah, well, that's my
That
situation
used to be you,
too.
but that's not you
me.
anymore.
But I'm not that way anymore. No, I'm not. And also it means that I look younger, and people really note it. You know, they're
You do look younger.
Yeah, it's part of the natural makeup, I think.